Step 2, awareness. Are you aware of the limiting beliefs that are preventing you from living in freedom? Good morning, everybody. My name is Connie-Lee and we're going to be looking at step number 2 today, and specifically where the belief systems come from that you feel about yourself and you have with the people in your lives. Louise Hay talks about how the belief systems that we have and the way that we interact with ourselves comes from the way that our parents interacted with themselves and interacted with the world. So we know, many of us know, that between the ages of 0 and 7, we develop belief systems about ourselves. Because what we do is we observe, and then we observe whether it has a positive reaction or a negative reaction from the people around us. And then we decide whether we want to imitate those particular behaviors, as was, spoke about by Albert Bandura in the social learning theory. Good morning. And what that basically talks about is that between the ages of 0 and 7, and even more, even now, but mostly when we're younger, we observe and we take on values and behaviors and belief systems from the people around us. But Louise Hay talks about when we're looking at relationships, and that's what this video is about, that's what this 7 weeks is about, is our relationship that we have with ourselves, but also those in our life. The relationship that we have with ourselves comes from us observing how our parents interacted with not only themselves, but with your father or your mother interacted with each other, or how they interacted with the world. So the question I'd like you to ask yourself is, okay, how was it that your parents interacted with one another? How was it that your parents interacted with the outside world? And have a look at how you interact with yourself. Because Louise Hay says that is how we actually interact with ourselves. I'm going to invite you to make a list and answer the following questions for me. So you've all got your journals in your hand. And the question is, what words do you use when you scold yourself, when you're moaning at yourself? Now we're all very self-critical. So bring into awareness, today I'd like you to bring into awareness, what words do you use to scold yourself? When you're criticizing, when you're moaning at yourself, what words do you use? And make a list, so write it down. What words do you use? You silly girl, or why did you do that, or you shouldn't have done that, and just make a list. Spend some time really committing to writing down the words that you use when you scold yourself. Now write down, what words do you use when you praise yourself? Write them down and have a look at, are they the same words that your parents used when they spoke to you? Are they the same words that your parents used when talking to other people? Are they the same words that your parents used when talking to each other? Now this is important because what Sandra Ray talks about is she talks about how every major relationship that we have in our life, every major relationship that we have in our life is a reflection of the relationship we have with at least one of our parents. So the question is, okay, how did your last relationship end? What about the relationship before that? And the relationship before that? What are some of the patterns? So are you thinking to yourself, well, I always end up with men who are distant. I always end up with women who are demanding. And have a look at, okay, is that the same pattern that was evident in your relationship with one of your parents? So I remember being in a relationship with someone who is very emotionally distant. And I had to look at, okay, well, is that a pattern that I had with one of the parents in my life? And it was the pattern that I had with my father. Although he loved me very much, the space that he was in was that there was that emotional distance between the two of us. until later on, until we healed it. And this is powerful because until you heal that pattern that you have with one of your parents, you will continue to create that same pattern in your relationships. So we're here to heal the relationships that are in our lives, and we're here to create new relationships. But unless we're aware of the patterns that we are repeating, how can we create new relationships where we're fully expressing our authentic worth? So what if we say today what's important is to begin to become aware of what some of the limiting beliefs are that we have about ourselves and our lives. Now, the way that our parents interacted with us and with others and their significant partner, positive as well as negative, shows us what some of the belief systems are that we developed. So how did they interact? How did your parents interact around you? And what have you taken on in this situation that you're in today? All right, so what words do you use when scolding yourself? Was my invitation to you making a list. And what words do you use to praise yourself? Then have a look at what is the pattern that you are creating in your relationships, and is that pattern the same as the patterns that you have with one of the significant parents in your life? Okay, so today is day one. We've got 5 more days left where we're going to be bringing in lots of different techniques to bring into awareness what are those patterns. How is it that we're speaking to ourselves, so that we can begin to shift them, so that we can begin to release them and begin to create new patterns of awareness, so that we can create relationships that support us, that honor us, where we are the full expression of who we are. Namaste to every single one of you who is watching. The light within me greets the light within you. As you can see, I'm still in Tirana. I've had a wonderful, wonderful weekend training with all the other directors from the, so it's very loud outside, isn't it? Training with all the other directors from Stockholm, from Sweden. We've got, obviously, the director of the Global Women Club has been here from London. So we've spent a wonderful, wonderful weekend together. And tomorrow, those of you who are part of the online academy, you will be joining us. But if you're not part of the online academy, I invite you, click on the link and join the online academy, so that you can continue walking with us as we look at uncovering how to create relationships where we express ourselves fully. Namaste, beautiful souls. See you tomorrow.